poetic, mental waves are magnetic. Yeah, I come from a line that's legal and majestic. Find me at the river taking a break, call it respite. It's not a promise, that's a gift. That's why we gifted. Consume the great thighs of the spiritually lifted. And after I bust a nut, I thank my wife cause now I'm lifted. Higher than Keith Murray and John Legend getting lifted. Peace to all of these shots working the religion getting lifted. These diamonds in my hands, oh, they shimmering. I got my own project and it's called By Shinnin'. Competing with these losers, so yeah, I'm about to win again. Go eat your pump a nickel while I enjoy my raisin cinnamon. If you're a bigot, get out my face, you're Skittle Zimmerman. Lots of fake people never met real ruffians.
What's going on, everybody? It's your host, the Crypto Wonder. It's been a while since I've done a blog like this, so I gotta respect my beginnings and where I come from. I've been doing mostly live streams, but it's okay. Hope this episode finds you well, and we're gonna get right into it. Now, first and foremost, again, there's always some kind of activity taking place in the DeFi crypto space. You know, some of the things I spoke about in my recent live stream, my latest one before I did this blog, you know, kind of comes to mind in a sense where, you know, in terms of, well, I spoke about brand marketing. I'm not going to rehash all the things I said in the stream, but all of this is about learning. You know, when I create content, I try to keep in mind, what is it that I'm going to do to possibly create some kind of value for the listener? Will the value be monetary? Will the value be something else? But as long as it's some type of value, then I think, you know, I've sort of like, quote unquote, done my job. Some cases I fly off the deep end and I'm extremely critical about certain things. But I gotta tell you, we gotta respect history. History is, in my opinion, it's a reference of a series of events that took place prior to today that sort of like shaped our reality for the present. And in crypto, in DeFi, we have to respect all the events that took place to get us to where we are today. That's just my opinion. And the reason why I say we have to respect is because if we don't, we'll miss out a lot. We'll be doomed to repeat certain errors, certain mistakes that could have been prevented. You know, because we think that perhaps things that happened in the past have no merit. You know, I mean, I don't think that way, but you get my point. No, forget about that. Was old news. That's yesterday's news. Today's a brand new day. Sure, it is. But you had to go through something before you got to today. And if you don't respect what you went through, you might find yourself, because life is funny that way, you might find yourself repeating the same situation over and over and over again, and kind of like crashing against a wall, wondering why I keep crashing against this wall. Well, it's because there's a lesson there that you didn't learn, that you keep ignoring. Holding is something that's very difficult in crypto, you know, like hodling and being able to withstand the pressures of buying, the pressures of selling, because both lend their own types of pressures with the natures of the market, right? The bear market, prices are low, the sentiment is very like glum and gloomy, and then when the bull market is raging, it's the exact opposite. You could throw anything at the market and you'll make some money. It's very, very fascinating. But just like in life, I've learned if you can sort of like remain steady, remain focused, remain balanced, no matter what market conditions are unfolding or unraveling, you're unwavered in a way. Now, don't get me wrong. You have a right to feel whatever you experience. You could be upset. God forbid you get rugged. Prices are low. They're taking forever. Been in a bear market for years at a time. It's very grueling, very difficult to bear, right? And the obverse of that is true. Markets are raging. You feel like you're rich, and it's never going to get back to where it was, where everything was low. Both instances should let a person know that everything is fleeting. These things are temporary. And all the while, you still exist. Now, what position will you play? Right? I think balance is the key, because when you're balanced, it's sort of like you have control of yourself. Right? When the emotions are coming, right? The feeling of temptation, the feeling of FOMO, all these things are rearing their nasty little heads out of nowhere and causing you to perspire and feel stressed out and increase your heart rate and start to sweat and everything. If you're not careful, you could make a decision and wreck yourself. I mean, true to form. And the obverse is also true. When you're making money, you feel like you're on top of the world. Like every day and any day is a good day. And at minimum, every day and any day is manageable. It should be manageable whether it's a bull market or a bear market. And to me, that's sort of like the goal that patient investors would like to reach. If you haven't reached to that point, certain investors, their style, when you talk about the transference of wealth from the impatient to the patient, and you learn from those who are willing enough to share their knowledge to the world. There's certain nuggets of information that they all share. They understand what they've acquired. They know the purpose of why they hold certain assets, and they act accordingly in unison. They may not even speak the same language. People could have different backgrounds, but some of these things that I'm sharing with you are still applicable. They're universal, right? So balance is important, because there's always going to be, in a space where technology advances, it seems like by the day, or even quicker than that, by the second, I would even say, people are always going to present to you new ways you could make money, new opportunities here, new shiny objects there, this, that, and the third. It's the nature of this space. It just is. You want to be in a position where you know what you're doing. Why wouldn't you want to know what you're doing? Why wouldn't you want to just at least have a strategy, a plan that works for you in the midst of everything that's going on? so that you could be successful and you could thrive, right? I mean, that's just logic. That's just logical. It's just logical. You know, there's a community relative to pulsechain. There's a bunch of communities, by the way, and it's amazing because when Richard was asked a while ago by another founder in the community, you know, what would he like to see built on pulsechain? And of course, Richard's first answer was, and his only answer really since has been, if it was up to him, he wouldn't want anything built on pulsechain. And the fact of the matter is, he can't stop anybody from building on pulsechain, right? And in my cases, as long as people are not getting hurt, then build to your heart's content. But we know that the risk to lose is always there because scammers pervade. They're very pervasive. They're everywhere. They don't disappear. And even those who have good intentions sometimes miss the mark. They do. The thing about all of this is that people have to understand, like, time has to reveal all things, right? You have to give things time. Like, I understand builders want support. They want the approval from, you know, I guess RH and maybe people in the community. They want all, but it's still, things have to take, time will tell what's what. Just like time had to tell for all the other successful projects that are out. Time have to prove their salt. Is this legit? Does this project work? Did anyone get scammed? Did anyone get harmed? No? Okay, that's great. That's great. And that's kind of the reason why I don't really talk about other projects, because I've learned my lesson. As a person who creates content on YouTube and who once was very excited to talk about multiple coins. And when I saw the landscape and saw how the majority of projects that out here are not even really close to being worth talking about, I decided, you know what? Let me not do that. Let me talk about something that's aligned with something that just works, that I like. I've already explained where this whole, in my opinion, where the whole toxic maxi narrative was spawned from. I've explained that. Unfortunately, people don't care, right? People don't really want to know about anything as far as like your reasoning, your rationale, you know, why do you think such and such occurred, and for this and that. They just hear something and they run with it. Again, I've said this many times. Many people don't want to do their research. They don't want to do their own research. Their research will go as far as what they've heard someone else say. Whether it's on a social media platform like YouTube or a Telegram group or Twitter message or text post spaces, and that's that. You know, it doesn't go any further than that. And it's crazy because you're not gonna make everybody understand where you're coming from. This is why my stance has been what it's been the whole time I've been creating content. I just speak from my mind and my heart, and however it's received, or however it's rejected, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. You know, I don't create content to sell you anything. I'm not trying to convince you to buy into anything. I'm not, I have nothing to gain. I just enjoy talking on a device. I've been doing this for now 7 years. And it's cool. And I just so happen to like crypto. And I like to speak about the cryptos that have been successful. People are very upset with Hex because it's been down, since the end of 21. Well, I want to say since the end of 21, the bear market, since its last all-time high. Right? The fall of 21 is when it reached its all-time high, and so anyone who bought back then and who's still in now, they could experience some type of uneasiness, if you will. But again, if you understand what you have and you have a plan, you might not really be experiencing uneasiness. You might be experiencing the exact opposite. You might be happy that you're able to come in at such a lower price point, maybe, because you don't know what this thing is going to do in the future. And if you really, really look into it, there's no cap on how high the price can go. There's no cap. There's no limit. But I also understand the needs of the people every day. You want to be able to be somewhat free from any financial constraints. And when you're watching these prices at so very low, it can bring a bit of dread. Could be dreadful. But at the same time, when you see a pump here and there and you get that feeling, that jolt, that hit of dopamine hits your system, remember, that's just the beginning. Because historically, the bull markets don't last as long as the bear. But during the time the bull markets are here, people, make no mistake, this is why it's important to be prepared. Because it is a wonderful thing to see your portfolio explode from a certain level to another level to another level, and it keeps on increasing and increasing. That is such a great experience, folks. And I would like to see more people have those types of experiences. I want to see you as a viewer, as a listener, have those experiences if you're participating in crypto. Why not? There's a lot of things that I learned so far in this space that I was unaware of, because I had a totally different idea of what it was all about, crypto. And I've accepted the good and the challenging aspects. I've accepted the fact that, in my opinion, you can have decentralization without some form of centralization. I've accepted that. Whether it's right or wrong, that's not for conversation right now. That's not what's on the table. Right? What's on the table is allowing ourselves to be participants in the fastest appreciating asset class known to man. There is nothing else right now in our existence at the time of this recording that exists that can yield bigger, greater rewards, mad gains, like cryptocurrency, folks. There's nothing else. Nothing. And what's crazy is, down the line, people are going to catch on. Oh, yeah. Because more people are catching on, right? Because why? Because the space is growing. It's expanding. The network effects are growing ever so large by the day. And this is not just singular to the RH ecosystem. This is just the entire market, period. It's growing. It's catching the interest of people who don't even care for cryptocurrency at all. So when this even scratches the surface and becomes somewhat commercialized or even mainstream, will we see that in our lifetime? And if we do, you folks who've listened to me now and who've been in this with me now, up to this point for however many long, up to this point at the time of this recording right here, yo, we were ahead of the game. Tip of the spear. Avant-garde. Trust. And with that, folks, I will catch you on the next one. Take care. And as always, be well.
Time's collapsing, the money is magic. Checking code, making sure that the math passes. They show their asses in order to steal assets. Expose snake sackers when we cut these crypto grasses. You better learn, homie, to protect these keys. Don't bend on knees, sucking off fake furu honorees. Nah, we tell the truth and it hurts. See the difference with a man hard at work or just a jerk. I know the bear market making your soul struggle. It's all puzzles, watching Twitter, Royal Rumbles, but remain humble while the proud and vain stumble. They feign judgment, but they ain't from the same jungle. Round here, we the lions, tigers, and bears holding the holy grail. Yeah, crypto conciliaires. This is Pulse Nation, the dimensional safe haven. They could never break us. Phony financial fakers, I'm out.
Oppressive nature, they going after freedom fighters. For some in the Hex community are nothing but snakes and vipers. They want you to follow people who are grifters, cowardice liars. How can you say the t-shirt rate can't help the Hex price go higher? How can you say I'm an old griot who talks about the dirty fiat? And some chicks with fatties will give you a quick $1.50. You move shifty, begging the community to break us. You sound silly. Imagine a builder making me change my name to Toby. Who's he? Another clown who likes to double talk. Spends hours on the spaces just to erase what he records. A lost cause with no fucks given, but we winning as long as we hold a Hex, pulsechain, and pulsex tokens. Let's get it.